Hello. So today we're going to be working on an in-game dialogue system. So one of the things that we want to do in this game is have kind of narrative events as well as tutorial events that happen to inform the player about their actions and like what they're doing, and then how that like works with the rest of the world. So for example, we want to like tell the player explicitly out loud about some of their actions, or maybe some of the actions they're not taking in some cases that we think they should be, as well as narrative cues about like what's going on in the world. So this is like our first mission, mission first landing, and on mission first landing we want to basically have a bunch of information about how to play the game. So, like, for example, we want to be like, hey, commander, or whatever we end up calling the main player. We'll give them probably a title or some sort of, I don't know what the word is, designation. The master AI, I don't know. Anyways, and so we want to tell them, like, hey, you can, like, click and drag to build wires. But probably we want to do that in a way that's a little bit dynamic. And then also, we'll be like, oh, Captain, you can like build mines now. So we like just unlocked this. And we want to tell them with some sort of like pop-up and maybe some text, with someone being like, hey, dude, you can now do a thing. And saying that with text down here, or maybe even like, we're thinking maybe using like a text-to-speech algorithm for this maybe. Those are getting pretty good these days. But just like telling the player, like, hey, let's do this, as just a better way of doing objectives. Like just having them up here is kind of, it's just not the greatest. It's not terrible, but could be better, and we will try and do better. So, with that in mind, that's what we're going to do. The idea is basically to have it be on the bottom right hand corner. Let's actually not go in. We'd be on the bottom right hand corner here. We have like maybe a pop-up face, or maybe multiple faces if there are multiple people in the dialogue thing. And then we have like text that scrolls along here about the size of this text. We want to be pretty large, so it's easy to read. So we'll see how large it ends up getting for what feels comfortable, but that's kind of goal. And then so it pops up and then it disappears. We also want that to kind of show up above this stuff here, so that'll be kind of interesting to get working correctly. Should be a whole thing. There's also the thing we want to do, which is when you like click on something, we pop up with this, and you can like scroll down and click on stuff to know what it does. We want to like slide this down when there's a narrative event going on. So this takes up a lot of the screen here. And if there's a narrative event going on, like probably our narrative event's more important than them reading this for the moment, at least. And so we're thinking we're just gonna slide this down. And so you'll be able to like still see this icon and like just this like top chunk of information, but all this stuff down here will be off the screen. So that's kind of the idea for what this is going to look like. Yeah. That's basically the idea what we're trying to do. So the first thing probably we'll start working on is just laying out the basics of like what the text is going to look like. How big or how many icons will there be? I feel like we're probably never going to have a conversation with more than 4, maybe 5 people at max. The thing is, we want like the enemy to sometimes have dialogue with the characters of the game. So like, let's say there's like an AI that's controlling this, and they're like, hey, you're not like allowed to be here, or you're an alien force, which you are, sort of. Spoilers. then like we want to have a little bit of a dialogue about that and about how you're like taking them over, and like higher command will hear of this and whatever, foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the future, and just kind of informing the player about the world they're playing in. So we want that to happen for like in a couple different ways. We kind of want like various triggering events for this. So like, for example, when we unlock Minor, we want a narrative thing to trigger on that. When we unlock Lance, we want a narrative trigger for that. When we like triplex, or maybe even we like complete an objective, we want various ways to trigger like events with that, right? To like do the narratives. The thing is those need to like not overlap, so we need like a queue of those that will acknowledge that like one is currently playing and the one, because it happens pretty easily that like you can get multiple of these like events to happen at once, right? So like if I build out here and I build out this way, I'll capture a mine very close to the same time that I'll capture this. So if the dialogue for this is like 10 seconds, we don't want to like interrupt this one to talk about this. And then also like objectives, you could have those take place that happens pretty quickly. So we want like some sort of queuing system. We want a way of triggering these things. And we want it to be flexible, that we can kind of add different triggers in the future to like set this up in whatever way we want. Like another example is like, see, we have to like destroy one more wire, and then you have to build 2 lances. So like it would be very easy to just be like, oh, there, okay. So I'll like destroy the wire, and then I got the lance. So 2 objectives are done. So if we had like a thing being like, oh, Captain, we've finished testing and calibrating the things or whatever, we may as well go get more data or something. But some acknowledgement of an objective being completed, like we could have multiple of those be popped. So, we'll just start with the basic stuff of just getting this in here at all, because right now there's no pop-up or anything. We'll have that be able to phase in, phase out with more or 0, and probably we'll have those like, I think probably slide in from off screen. So we'll have them be sitting off screen, then we'll turn them on and slide them on screen. And then I feel like for this bottom one, we probably slide up. I think so. These slide from the left, these slide up. Especially if like you're in select and you're selected, like this is going to slide down, that's going to slide up at the same time. So like, it's probably good. We don't anticipate people using this very much. It's just mostly to like convey information about this. Like, hey, this does 100 damage and has 100 health. This information you can't really find in many other places. Like, how long does it take to build? And we have upgrades that modify these things. So it would be good for the player to know what like their upgrades are doing and how much health things have. So like if this is 40 DPS, I know, oh, it attacks like about once per second, so probably each hit does like maybe 40 damage or something like that. Maybe we should do also like a per hit. I don't know. And we'd be like, hey, let's have 50 health, so like 2 hits is going to take out a wire. So yeah, that's kind of the idea of what we're trying to do. Trying to make this dialogue system work and not mess up any of the UI stuff. So yeah. If you have any questions, you can ask them in chat and we can talk about them. But otherwise, I think we'll get started in just a moment. So yeah, I'm going to go get a glass of water real quick, and then we'll get started. If you have any questions, poke them in the chat. Okay, I shall be right back. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go pop over, start getting stuff done. This is like our main UI prefab. All the selection stuff is on this layer, so it could just be below that would work. Selection also includes the actual showing information. So if we just put it below this, and then we just make it scale the same way, that should basically just work. So we'll do, this is dialog, right? And then basically we delete all that. This is the panel. The panel's kind of bigger here. In fact, actually, let's go and do, does this have an on enable? I forget. I think it's just references. And this gets serialized regardless of enable state. But let's check real quick. Empty. Yeah, so we can disable that. So do that, give some space, enable this so we can kind of see where we're matched up. I'm pretty happy about the size of this thing, but we can always offset stuff later. And there aren't any icons there because those icons are created at runtime for the like button things. Okay. So let's see about this. We want to do a couple things. Dialog, we want a text panel. So we basically just want like an image that's kind of like this guy, right? Square bordered 512. And let's copy that, paste, cool beans, and then we also want this to be bottom right associated, and then offset by, I think, 80. Yeah, so that'll have it be directly on the edge. And then we want it to be a lot wider, going out to like there-ish. That's, I think it's 880. Yeah, because 80 times 10 times 11. You don't have that many buttons. These actions go 1 to 0, so I don't know why I put 11 slots in. Because I think these are 80 by 80, so it should be 800 is the max, but okay. I guess there's extra space over there. Okay, so now this is like basically the dialog panel. And then we have another one of these, which is the portrait panel. And I feel like portrait should be like reasonably big. Let's change the game to our minimum target resolution though real quick. This is like the most that we can scale things. And so it gives us the kind of the most compact version of our game. So we'll say this is the portrait. You see call it the profile, but portrait panel. Now, the portrait panel's a little tricky. Let's do, and then this is 160. No. Well, it should be, but this is more than 80. I feel like this should be kind of less. Like, we're not going to have, like, tons of dialogue things. So I think this goes down to, like... So if our text is... because it's like, text is measured in height. What is the... like, I feel like these are pretty visible, right? Like, if we're looking at the game like this, that's pretty visible. These guys are definitely visible, so let's target that as a preferred text size. Is that so? If we go resources, panel, energy. These are 32, so we need a minimum of 64, and preferably we have a little bit of room to scroll things. So. Scroll things. I don't know. Maybe 70. That's only like 6 pixels. It's not a lot, but maybe it's enough. So 32x2 plus 8. 72. Let's just throw some text in there and let's see what we get. So this is that way. Let's move it a little down because we don't want it to be right on the edge. Font size 32, width 80 minus 4. And then we want 72 minus 4. Then, okay, so at 32, that doesn't actually fit because for minus 2 minus 2, like it should, we should be 4 pixels. But I guess there's a bit of spacing in here from the top. And like between them. Okay, let's fill this full of W's. Okay. So how big do we have to get to like enable that? Also, this text looks garbage. How do we make it look better? Really not. Font size. I think we need to use like Text Mesh Pro Text. This text looks good. This text looks really gross. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, good. Not good. Okay, so dialog panel text. Text Mesh Pro text UI. I think that's what we want. There we go. And then 32. Okay, that fits pretty well. Now, is there a way to scroll this? There's like a spacing option, alignment. See, we can like center it, and then what we could do is say like, when we do this, we immediately get rid of that. So it like jumps. Jumping might be interesting. Versus a gradual scrolling. Like we want this to be like typed out. And then it would be like, right, and then so this actually goes over the edge though. If we do top, bottom aligned, that's like a little better. But that's gonna have, actually no, that's probably good. Okay, that actually looks not bad. Baseline. Cap line. Huh. So to make this do like the thing, I think we kind of just have to manually get rid of the text, then just kind of move it up. But, it's very reasonable to want to scroll it. You know, let's do the non-scroll version first, and then we can do the scroll version if we want. Doing the scroll version requires that we do like masking things, right? Because half a character is going to be off the top here. There's probably a way of masking this. Outline, face, debug settings, layer properties. Okay, now let's look this up real quick. Let's see, I want Unity text mesh pro UI masking. Okay, well this is an issue. That's not not great. Mask text mesh pro. Let's see what we got. Mask. Rectangle mask. Padding softness. Put it here. Oh man, look at that. That's so easy. We put it up above. Alright, we still have our huge amount of text. And then so we kind of have a problem that our masking, this actually is probably fine because this is the background. We're going to have a top part over this. I feel like reading moving text is going to be harder though than reading non-moving text. Okay, this is a maybe. I don't know. Doing this is a big performance hit, probably. So I'm going to disable it for now. Oh wait, there's softness. What is soft? So there's margins. Ooh, okay, these margins could be nice. We do like a margin of 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, that's neat. Oh, we could do some cool things where stuff scrolls by here really quickly, maybe. Like a bunch of 1s and 0s if you're getting like hacked or something. And it's like, it just spams through really quick. Okay. For now, though. Wait, why is the height messed up? No. Oh, -2. Right. Why is this of that corner? Okay, let's change that. I actually don't know if it matters to scaling, right? So if we scale this to like 2, 2, 2. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're up. This will be a scaled panel just like the rest. Now the question is this pretty readable? Let's put a thing up and see what we got. Again, disable that for now to see the quick brown fox ran into the house. It had a bad day and wanted to see its owners. It ate some food, enjoyed itself. Okay, so let's just save that real quick. Press play, and it's not scaling yet, so that won't work, but we could test that. I'm gonna adjust my seated position for this. Looks like I'm still in view, which is good. The quick brown fox ran into the house. It had a bad day. Okay, so it's got some bad, like it shouldn't be as transparent. This needs to be a much darker background. Yeah, maybe like this, or maybe entirely black, because there's some really bright things in the background. So having this be really dark probably is reasonable. Now, if we scale this up, once again, that doesn't get scaled with it, so. But I want to make that just to see, because like that's the smallest, so like, yeah, you need that resolution if it's a really, really crappy, like 720p, but panels, UI, scaled panels, we add +1, and then panel, save. Let's see about that. Thanks, Quantum. Yeah, it's coming together. Okay, so that's at Quad HG. That text looks like worse somehow at higher resolution. Oh, it's because of scaling. I need to make this like full screen. There we go. It's just having like a bad upscaling. 0.42x is not a great. If we did like 0.5, it would probably look better. Oh, but that zooms in. I don't want it to like. Yeah, whatever. And then minimum. There we go. We don't really want to do 3 rows, is the thing. Okay, and then let's do minimum target, and we can do 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Let's see how many portraits we can actually hold up there. So we do portraits. I'm gonna get rid of this image because I'm gonna be, well, maybe I'll keep it for the moment. But we might get rid of it because we'll have to dynamic scale it, I guess. Which is a little weird. I mean, we could just like have it go all the way up and then have boxes fill in the spaces or not, but that feels kind of gross. Like there should be only so much space for how many people are talking. So this dialogue box is 80. It's 888. Dialogue box panel. Dialogue panel. Okay, so I want to do plus 72. And that's going to be like exactly on top of it. So assuming that we want to be a multiple of this, it's just times by 4. Dang it, we're just like a tiny bit too short for 4 people if we do exactly 128. Let's do 120. Okay, we can do 120. And that's the minimum target. We want a little bit of spacing between them because we want like a couple pixels. So if we do 120, that gives us like a couple. So let's say the total, like the icons are 120 or whatever. But what can we do? Let's do like 122 times 4. 4, 6. Okay, so we can get 126 by 126. That's our max size if we want 4. Tucker, do we want more than 4 people able to talk in dialogue?
Probably not.
Probably not, or we at least want them to like swap out their characters.
I mean, I imagine we could, yeah. We might want to swap out people, but I don't think. I really doubt we'd want to show more than 4 faces at a time.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, with our higher resolutions, we could do more, but like I'm doing minimum resolution right now, and I'm like I couldn't fit 4 to like situate well.
4 seems like a good number.
Yeah. Now the thing is if we have a different.
This is something we want to chat with Austin about.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna be
like,
conservative on the space, I think, because like the aspect ratio of what is this aspect ratio again? 1280 or 128 by 72. I wish I could turn that into a knot. Because like if we have an aspect ratio that's like this, or even super wide, we want more space. So actually in this case, we shouldn't be looking at the minimum. We should be looking at the worst aspect ratio that we want to support. Otherwise, it'll go off the screen. So we actually need to go quite a bit. It's a little smaller. Okay, so if we want to do 4, let's just try like 100. 100 is so small, though. It's a very small face. And then y4. And then game. Yeah, so if we do, that's just like rubbing up against their new aspect ratio. What was that one? You could apparently have a 21 to 9. 21 to 9. Aspect 21 to 9. Oof. Okay, that's gross. Yeah, you make our scaling code like take the minimum or something of X and Y. Cause like this was 300. I mean, this isn't like the width isn't right, but the scale for the top part, like these wouldn't be running into each other because we'd have a billion pixels to spread them out or whatever. Versus just forcing the aspect ratio. There's not a lot of monitors that have that, right? Do you know how many monitors have like 21 to 9 aspect ratio, Tucker? 21 to 9 aspect ratio? Is it like a...
Never heard of it.
Apparently it's a thing. – 21 to 9. It's like super wide. This is like resolutions used for VR. Like this looks like VR. Some competitive. That's why some competitive games. Apparently some competitive games actually limit the aspect ratio to no more than 16 by 9, meaning you'll have black bars on the side of the screen. Okay, I'm gonna say that if competitive games disallow it, then people have solutions, or they kind of expect it to happen sometimes. If you get a 21 to 9 aspect ratio, there's a 32 to 9 aspect ratio. That's like, dude, what the heck? It's so wide. What the hell? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna say the widest we go is the 16 to 9, and then we go up to 3. Because these are the ones that are like, I feel very common. Right, you got your like your 4K, your Quad HD, your HD, and then you have this, which is what our lowest resolution that our UI is targeting. So we need to be able to support these guys basically, and that's I think else basically is it. Like what even? Who the monster that do this? I don't think we care to support those aspect ratios well, do we, Tucker? support aspect ratios that are like 21:9 or 32:9. I feel like we just don't test or care. Like if UI starts breaking on those monitors, we say whatever. Like probably those monitors even have settings to force their aspect ratios to be reasonable ones.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I would think that'd be a button you could do if you have like a super long super, I think. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are all just screwed and we can't support them.
Good if we supported every possible resolution.
It would be, but like 21:9 is so squished. That's like, or it's really squished.
2 to 1 wide? Huh.
Yeah, that's more than 2 to 1 wide.
There's brrr. Okay, so what we probably would need to do. Okay, so if we want to support that, I know there's packages. There might just be a setting in Unity, letterbox.
Yeah, I think that's what we probably do.
Not actually use that resolution.
Yeah, we can just say maximum supported. You know, there's probably a thing actually in the build settings. Let me just look at that.
Like there might just be a fucking button for this where we say.
I think so.
If resolution to squat letterbox.
Squash image. Other settings. Okay, I'll look for it. Let's do that. So Unity max range of supported aspect ratios. What the heck? That's the aspect supported ratios. In the player settings, there's a section that allows devs to uncheck certain resolutions. This happens if I force my game only be in running applications, on letterbox game, or just not let the game run. So player settings supported aspect ratio is used to work. Which resolutions to display resolution selection or standalone. If your supported resolution, this prevents any resolutions from being available, and rather displaying nothing or crashing, it will list the current display resolutions. That may mean their game startups on an aspect that is not expecting. You should therefore check the actual screen resolution using screen current resolution. And do letterboxing yourself with perhaps pixel rect. So like work out which resolutions to display if you supported. Okay, so there is a thing. It's in player settings, supported aspect ratios, player settings. Config. Here we go. This is probably it. Supported aspect ratios. Okay. 5:4. I mean, probably we can support that. I should check that. A 5:4. I think we have enough space on the side. Others. We're gonna say not others. We don't support others. We support these 4 probably. So let's see. Delete add aspect 5, 4. That's so squished. What about 4 by no. 4, 3. Oh, gross. Okay, we apparently don't. We also don't support 4x3 because I forgot how freaking square that is, and yeah, sad me. Alright, let's get an actual resolution in here. That is this thing. Yeah, let's do this. New resolution. Yeah, there. Okay, that's better. That's like minimum for that. Why doesn't it have lower resolutions here? Jeez, it's like kind of obnoxious. 4, 3 aspect. Well, this is a bit of a detour, but okay. So popular 403. So I feel like this is like really low resolution, but maybe reasonable. Like this is close to our min size. Let's just look at this. Display new. Let's do that. And scene. Yeah, it's no good. Like our min works just fine. What if we give it just a few more pixels, like XGA plus? Let's look at that. Fun detours. That just barely fits. We actually might push this over a little bit, because we have too many slots. We don't need that many. What to do? I mean, at a higher resolution of 5x4, like, it does mostly fine. Like, what if we play? Let's just try this. Let's see what it looks like in game. I mean, we could just move scale amount. This is like a super uncommon thing. So if we play it there, oh jeez, oh jeez. Okay, so if it's a reasonably high resolution thing, we give it an appropriate scale to fit. But if we jump down to like here, no dice. Definitely no dice. I mean, it's still technically playable. It's just really gross. And our UI fills up so much of the screen. I mean, this isn't too bad. We're going to clean up these a little bit, but... like, that's bottom chunk, a little important data there, options up here. Like, if I go and do things real quick. Like, I don't know. Let's maximize this. You know, that's not bad. I'm going to say this will be our minimum resolution for that aspect ratio. Alternatively, we could, like, honestly move up, but here's the one. I feel like practically no one uses these aspect ratios anymore, though. They don't even have 5x4 listed here. Like, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna say that this is just the lowest aspect ratio we get. And then this is the minimum target resolution. Okay, so let's clean this stuff up. Okay, let's see. Delete, edit, label, target for, okay, and then edit, and
a bug.
get, oh, a bug?
There's a...
9.
Your damage distribution to shields thing has an infinite loop.
Oh no.
Because, see, okay, if remaining damage is less than divisions, then the amount you end up blocking every frame, you end up blocking every cycle is 0. You block a bunch of 0 damages.
It's supposed to be max.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's supposed to be max. Yeah, it needs to at least do 1 damage always. And
This
that's supposed to handle that case.
I was confused about what this statement was doing, but like with max, it makes sense.
It's supposed to be max. Like I intentionally thought about this. Like, yes, I put in
like, oops,
min instead of max. Yeah, the minimum I want. It's always weird. You use the opposite of the thing you want. You're like, no, I want to do the max, but like the minimum is the one on the right hand side. I want that to be the maximum, but the minimum allowed.
I want it to be at least this.
Yeah.
So I'm setting the minimum. Like you're setting the minimum value by using max.
Yes.
And you're setting the maximum value by using min.
Min, precisely. You know,
I understand.
maybe an
I have done
at-least
this
function
thing.
would be good. I've done that a couple times too. So thank you for finding it. You that was your
Yeah.
run
Oh,
over
well,
the night.
No, I was playing the game and it froze.
It froze.
So I attached the debugger and paused it, and like this is where it was.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, makes total sense. I get it.
Yay, infinite loops.
No.
Hang on, let's make these be the same format. Okay, I'm deciding our 5x4 target resolution is like 1400 by 1050. Are you okay with that, Tucker?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of a bigger target resolution, but like if you're using a 5x4 monitor, I don't know why you're doing that.
You're gonna have a hard time no matter what.
Like, if you go smaller than that, then some of our other stuff kind of breaks.
Oh, this is a Archiblarg. We should check Steam for like Steam under its requirement. Each game has a like resolution requirements, I believe.
For Steam?
So it would be good to. Oh no, just like every game has its own resolution requirements.
Oh.
It'd be good to make sure that ours are like reasonable in context.
Yeah.
Like, system requirements.
Being reasonable in context is relevant.
Okay. Okay. Looks like they don't always list a resolution requirement.
Okay. So this is like kind of the view you would get if you were like on a Steam Deck. Okay. And we need to find a different color for these. That's unacceptable. It needs to be much better. So let's work on that.
Oh.
And if this is our target, then we can get away with like 4 portraits. And then I don't know how many pixels we want. Let's say 2 pixels above and below each portrait. So each portrait then is like a little bit more. Yeah, we have tons of space when we switch to that.
1080p is the typical.
I mean, we can also have characters that like aren't talking or are talking pop in and out
Yeah.
as a thing if we don't have enough slots on the right hand side to have them all present. Just kind of weird. I feel like having at least 4 is good, so we'll do 4. Okay, so if we have 2 pixels above and below, that is plus 4 times 4. Right, and then we have just plus by 4. 2 pixels left and right. And that should do us fine. Okay, so the next part I want to make these a prefab that I'm going to create. I think maybe.
I found the thing we care about.
Oh.
There's a percentage of users by screen
One second.
resolution.
Okay, yeah, what do we got?
This one.
Okay, so the vast majority are what we expect. That's our main target audience. We have 10% that are QHD.
I mean, it'd probably be good to support down to like here. And up to like here. This would be
Well,
a
we
good
can support
range.
these higher resolution, so it's just the aspect ratios that gets weird. So, okay. Can you send me a screenshot of this?
Yeah, I just was doing that. I had taken the snip when you walked over.
Yeah. Because
Damn.
if we just have
Nope.
that, okay. So.
I see no reason to allow our game to be played on multiple monitors at once.
Yeah, no, there's no point for that. So.
It seems like a niche feature to me.
If we're looking at. Nope. No, go away.
Yeah. We has market data.
We have market data. Yes, thank you, Steam, for making our lives easy. Okay, so actually a fair number of people do what is 366 by 768? What even is that aspect?
Ratio.
Dang it, I just closed it out. Go back.
16 by 9, almost. It's ever so slightly off.
It's ever so slightly off.
A scooch off of 16 by 9. That's 16 by 8.9956076.
Yeah, weird.
I don't like this.
Anything over 1%, we'll look at that.
Can you just add like an extra pixel at the top or something? Make your ratios work out. Like nice whole numbers.
Yeah. What the heck? Why does it change? What the heck is going on? I like type a number and a different number shows up.
Did you modes yourself?
Modes?
Somehow? You know, like you're in Dvorak mode. You're in Dvorak mode or something.
No, it's just in this one box. Like, my stuff works fine otherwise. Let me just refresh this page. Oh no, it just does that. Okay. Yeah, so it like autocorrects or something. The second one, maybe? I don't get it. 720. I don't. Okay, this is a stupid website. Let's just look down here at the popular ones. So 1360. Yeah, basically anything over 1%, I think we care about. Actually, a fair number of people have like 4K monitors. It's like 3 or 4%. We have a lot of people have like Ultra HD. The vast majority, though. This is our minimum resolution, so we actually hit that. I need like a spreadsheet. Let's aspect ratio, resolution, spreadsheet. Here we go. On a table. gonna be on the left-hand side. Yeah, let's just like put in some of these. See how they look, because I can't know for certain unless I just look and see what's going on with them. So we definitely want to hit the 6% one. 1366 by 768. New fixed 1366 by 768. That looks fine. Let's play. See what we got. See what we got. We didn't save that, but whatever. Okay, what other useful resolutions are there to go for? That one is so close that it doesn't matter. So 1440 by 900. Yep, that's good. What else we got? That's over 1%. So we'll do it. So 1680 by 1050. 80 by 1050. Is that right? Oh my gosh. 80 by 1050. Such a weird thing. Okay, but once again, we're fine. 680, 10. That's gonna just be a taller version of that by 120 pixels. It's fine. And then, of course, we already have tested Quad HD. Looks pretty decent. And then 4K looks pretty decent. Okay, I think we're fine. I don't have to do any crazy reworks to stuff. It's all good. Okay, so let's go to making the stuff work good. Making it look good, work, happen. Okay. So what we want to do is add portraits to this. So this is very similar to how we did the selection, right? We have like basically like kind of like this guy. Let's save that. Very close, actually. I am very tempted to just copy this and then get rid of the button bits. Let's do that. Base dialog portrait. And let's copy the name over. We got some things. The icon we want. Energy. Oh, this is... We're not looking at... Okay. And then... Base dialogue. Okay. And we don't need that. Hover panel. Tooltip. We don't need that. Unlock effect. Oh, I guess we have that still. You want an icon. Energy. Don't need that. Don't need that. We might want a name under this. And then the icon. So not transparent. And then this is the background, right? What is the white background? Bottom right, no fill. Icon.
Oh, just thought of a neat visual polish thing.
What?
It would be cool to show the outline of the platform in front of a searcher, like at the end of that searcher.
The outline of sorry, say that again?
So like when I was building this searcher, if you're building something and there's a platform directly in front of it, it would be neat if we could grab that platform block and like get its outline and put it at the end of the arrow.
Ooh, yes, that would be very good. That's actually not
like that's and potentially not too hard.
like a platform. Like when a platform merges, it already kind of knows all the information it needs to create that.
Yeah, I mean, simple. You can just
Make
run,
straights.
just loop over all your children, min max max, min x max x, min y max y. Box.
Yeah.
And just call it big fucking box. Like
Yeah.
you could outline. The outlines are cool.
When
but
we
big
merge,
fucking box is like good enough.
Yeah, I mean, outline doesn't matter too much because it's like really asking yourself like
The exact outline
the footprint
would
of where
look
you move.
neat, but
And we can also make it a footprint of where you move. So like if you click and drag to here and then it makes a box when you run to it that goes up one, and then the box expands and says this is the footprint of that move. So I'd be like, what are you running into? And then if we wanted to, we could even put red boxes and things that get in the way. So a lot of chance of
tack this onto polished visuals.
yes.
The ever expanding list.
I mean, yes, it's gonna be expanded, obviously.
Yeah.
It's gonna go all over the place. Okay. What? I am.
Oh, what I'm thinking is this would probably only work for searchers that are built like directly adjacent to platforms.
Directly adjacent.
Like you build a searcher like directly behind a platform, not like a searcher that will run into a platform at some point. Maybe. I don't know. It might not be much harder to have it also be able to pick up searchers on the move. So a platform that you run into on the move.
Oh no, we can just say it doesn't block. Like if you own it, you don't block it. That's all. Which is a special thing where it's like this doesn't have a red box on it because you'll just pick it up and you'll be like, oh, why is that? It's like, oh, because there's a platform on it. And if there's a platform on it, then you're like, totally chill. Okay. Let's see. What is next on the list of making this stuff work? So if this is the middle, let's go for a black, I guess. We want it to not be transparent. And this doesn't quite extend out all the way, actually. We... 2, 1... Okay, and then our icon should be there. And we should change that one too. That'll make it fit in better. Let's actually go do that. Fish. There. Middle. Oh wait, no, this has to be that color because I think this is the thing that gets changed. Yeah, M is the... This changes color, so it needs to be whitish. We can change it to be a little bit darker, I guess, but not by much. Because then the hue won't show up if it's mostly dark. Okay, let's do just a little bit more of that. Top, bottom. 1, 1. We could pull back actually a little bit more, all the way to there. 2, 3. 3. Left. 3. Icon, hide action, middle, L, top, 5N. Yeah, the icon's not big enough. This needs to be like 72, 72. Typing 72. 72. Right, 72. 72. Right, that extends to the bottom though. We need to find a way to make those blend better. Or we could move them down a little bit. then if we do that. I want to do a pass on that sometime, but Now, a thing about this center text. Okay. Anyways, it's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to go for that. We're trying to do this guy. So many messages from people. Transverse, yes, starting node has your inputs. That's cool. Problem is that multiple nodes have no inputs. If multiple nodes have no inputs, well, you have to island them. This could be optimized as storing the route vector that one of the nodes are added or removed. It doesn't change when nodes are moved specifically or have type changed. I think. Yeah. Okay, another thing we need to change here is this. This is not a button anymore. This image part we don't need. And we're like gutting out the other parts of this. We'll say this is the character name. Character name. Name. Base dialogue portrait. Sweet. So we got Bobby. And let's bring this to like a little higher up maybe. We actually might want to do that here as well. It's like overlapping. Game name. It's like 15. A little higher up. More water. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. Kind of want to get rid of those blocks there. and then push those up and to the left. Like, there's character, and then there's, like, getting in the way of communicating information well, and I feel like that's kind of on the edge with those things. Anyways, let's do that. Yeah, I like how it's a little bit further up. And as we preferred, it's behind. So now let's finally get around to that transparency bit. Gameplay UI. No. We basically want this guy to be a lot less transparent, and we want it to be a darker color, like about that. That-ish maybe. What are these guys? Let's take that color. Selection. Like, copy that. Oh, dang it. Copy. Paste. Has some pretty good contrast. The text is maybe a bit powerful. I feel like it's a little close to this edge. So maybe maybe we add a little bit of padding. I want to say there's a way to do that. Yeah, left side. You could do like 2. Man, this is like literally the most perfect fit text. Let's get rid of a little bit there. There we go. Let's just do like 1. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, so you'll just read this bottom one, I guess, if thing will have like some time for the scroll. Yes. And okay, so this definitely can't be, because like we might have people come in and out from left and right. That won't work if we have it a whole bar. So we really just want it to be a panel without an image, right? And that's it. So this will be a thing we create our 4 or so panels with some amount of height to them or whatever. And yeah. Like I kind of just want to make these 100 so that the math is easier, right? And say, hey, we can have 4 of them, right? Technically 5. Or we could do 120. Yeah, let's do 120. That's an easily divisible number. And it'll be bigger than these guys. These guys are 80 down here. Relatively small. You can pop them in and out. Okay, I'm gonna go do a small break, and then we'll get back and work on this. RB5. Making up some pot stickers. That'll be mighty tasty. Okay. So, let's go and create something to like manage this. Now, if I remember correctly, in the way you do with selection, like there's the action panel, but like the part that manages it is maybe in here. Let's take a look at that. This class is pretty huge, but like, you know, it's central. It's got all the things. It's like we got our selection links here, and we'll basically kind of do the same thing for dialogue, I think. Yeah, so for the who references this, it's a lot more than I thought. Yeah, so, and, oh my gosh, we're gonna get rid of all this code. This is great. Or, not all, but like a good chunk of it. Because we're getting rid of build mode, or input modes. That'll be a nice refactor. Delete a bunch of code. So yeah, on enable, you set up actions. This is good. This is actually kind of what we want. So I think this is pretty good. We can just have the local X position change basically to slide them on and off the screen. I kind of want to do a mock-up of this a little bit. We don't want to have our portrait images yet. So, oh, interesting. We don't parent it till later. Huh. Odd. That's the thing. And we say anchor position. It says local position. Okay. So, setting up objective text, damage arrows. So I think we'll just put a thing right here, which is like set up dialogue, like profiles. So we want a way of referencing these things, so we'll make a thing under selection links. We'll make a new header for these. Header. This is gonna be like, what to call it? What to call it? Dialogue, I guess. Public class dialogue links. We'll call it object links for the type. And then we need one of these dialogue links. And then this is going to need to be a system serializable public, and objects, and then inside here, we're then going to be like, hey, I want to know about where the profile rect is. So rect transform profile rect, and then I want to know about the text mix pro thing. TMP dot text. What the text mesh pro UI GUI. I think this is the one. Those are my pause stickers. About 2 minutes, maybe. I'll do 1 minute and 40-ish seconds. Okay, so whatever. It'll tell us if we're wrong on this. Let's see what the options are real quick, though. Yeah, that's all I can think of for the UI version. So this will be like dialogue text. And that's like basically it. We have some internal things in here, right, that we're going to create. Most notably, we have the like 4 profiles that we want to create outside the screen. Or we could just make them ahead. Yeah, let's just do that. Public. I don't know what we want to know about these things, really. So let's just keep the rect transform for now, and profiles, and then we'll say, hey, it's an array of these things, right? Profile root rect profiles, and then the dialogue text. Okay, let's just go with that for now. Let's see. So usually what we do is you have the like base version, and then we have like a derivative of that. Dang it, let's do that. It could be neat for a couple reasons to have different versions. So like the aliens might have a different portrait than us, which would be kind of cool. Or than the player, I should say. Or the human characters, quote unquote. So let's create a prefab variant of that. And then let's move that over to prefabs. And then dialog portrait, we can throw it into UI probably. And then we put this here. Now it's gonna be like there. Now if we open this, we want this to be bigger. I don't know why I can't modify the things here for some reason. Well, I think we can do and say, hey, these are 120. Oops. 20, 120. And then there's a thing we can do where we like reverse apply these things. Yeah, override. Yeah. And now we go into here. And then it's changed. Yeah. A bit silly how that works. Oh, but the important part. Why is this a negative? Well, it's a tiny number. Now we gotta scale everything up, so that's stretched. This isn't. You know, let's also stretch this, and then we'll just pull it back from the sides by like 2. Nope, we need to pull up the bottom by like 8, maybe 6. No, 8. We can get away with 6. 5, 7, 7. 7, 7, and then 4. Like we want to be like about like there-ish. So 4, 10, 4, 10. The name, and then go up a bit higher. 18, approximately. There we go. We could do 20. Right, left, and then the background. So 3, 5, 3, 5. And then we'll just change this icon couple different things and see what we get. Okay. So, $120. Yeah, that's not really, yeah, that's a lot of space between those two, actually. Um, 40 and 120 times 3. So we could actually either make these larger or not, and then to say which one's talking, we could do a highlight thing around them. And like having them like slide in and out. Probably look pretty good, I think. Decisions. So let's I think these overlap a little bit. Like, what if we made them a bit bigger? So, do like 132. 132. 32. No, let's just grab all these. 2. And they are like right on top of each other, just barely skimming. But they are above this thing here. What if we do just a little bit more? Let's do like 140. 140. And they're like over top of each other. Apply. And that way all of these, well, mostly. There. Okay, so now this guy, go down to dialogue links. We want to put the profile panel root there. Going to lock this. Gonna add those there. And then we have the dialogue text, which, yes, we did get the right type in there. And we can save that. And that's the dialogue links. So in theory, that should be able to be all the like things that are not code. It's like setup of objecty stuff. So let's like give it a play and see what it would look like. So there's negative space here. Not great. Let's do full HD. And let's say we'll just go and tell one of these things like what does talking look like? And what I think that means is basically just this guy, and we change his color to like green or something, and it's like I'm talking. And we can do like a flash. Maybe it's white. Or maybe it's even of the icon flash. We could do some neat things with that, actually. Like, what if we're like, oh, you have an icon, but like, oh, you're like changing to red slowly, like, I'm dying. Yeah, we could maybe do some neat things with that. You know, maybe you're some amount dimmed. And when you're talking, you go full. Like, if you're this amount dimmed, is it noticeable that the other ones aren't? So, icon, icon, icon. And also, we should probably have a name here. So, like, here's the thing that's kind of tricky is that your eyes have to travel over there, right? From reading. So if I'm reading The Cook Around Fox Ran to the House, I'm not necessarily noticing like which of these ions is highlighted. So like let's say they're all like that, and then this one is lit up. I can kind of see that in peripheral vision. Yeah, I can kind of see it in peripheral vision, but it has this problem of like words. Like your eyes have to move up there. So like if you're reading the thing or not reading the thing, you might not know who's talking. So like having the name of the person here could be good as like a box that's here. Additionally, like we could also use a little bit of space over here. This text is kind of big, but also it's like kind of the minimum I think we can get away with. Like that's what it's gonna look like at its minimum resolution. And I really don't want to have text be too small that it's hard to read. And then when it's gone, all this is gone. And objectives, we need to do something about objectives. They take up too much space and they're hard to read. So we could do icon highlighting. That seems like a reasonable thing to do, maybe. So I'm going to make a script that references the stuff in here. So like the name here, the icon, the background, at least those 4 things. And then from there, we can move forward. So let's go do that. Scripts UI. This is like dialogue portrait controller, I guess, is what we call it. Create dialogue. I've been live for like 2 hours. Go a little bit further. I'm feeling pretty good. I just got some food in me. So this is just going to be references to stuff. I just want public. We are, like have a rect to ourself of sorts, right? But okay. So image unit public unity engine UI image. So this is like the backdrop of the portrait, public unity engine UI image. This is the icon of the portrait, unity engine well, no, this is actually tmp dot, and then this is the name or the title, the name of the portrait, title, and we also have like our own self, which is the root, which we can just set. It's like not that hard. Rect transform portrait root. Okay, so base dialogue portrait, and we can go and change that. So we're just gonna add that here. Why is there a canvas renderer here? We don't need that. Portrait. There's some compiling error, isn't there? Why isn't it showing up? So we are the root. M is the backdrop, which we're going to rename it to backdrop. Icon is the icon. Title is the name. Let's change this to title. Okay, so go back. Let's see. What do we do now? All right. So now we just want to actually store references to this thing instead of the rect transform. So go here. And we do that. And we'll see about assigning those. It'd be cool if Unity did like a search on the game object for the same component. But I don't think it can. Because you have more than one component on a single thing. So it would be kind of crazy and speculative if it could do that. Dialog links, and yeah. Lock. So those are the profiles, and then these themselves have access to that. So now everything is basically ready to be coded to like move crap around. Like stuff is getting scaled properly. So now we just need to have the stuff work. So we have this like notification thing with notification channels, and like kind of part of that I want to have things like trigger this, right? Because this has a timeout system already. And so we could add a new channel to it, which is like, hey, this is the narrative channel or something. Or even just use the objective channel because we haven't written anything with it yet. And when you're using the objective channel, like maybe it will provide more information or something. So like right now, the interface for this is like you create a push notification, which just has a channel and a world position, and then you send it in. But if your channel is like an objective, or maybe we'll just call it narrative, then like we have more things to say about it, maybe. Or additionally, we could make a new structure that just has a notification channel in it, but different things. Now the problem with that is, of course, we're storing these like push notification things here. on each channel, and so it kind of be like redoing the system a little bit, and that's maybe more work than we want to do, but like the system kind of needs to be robust and powerful. We need to be able to say like, hey, this is like a reference to the scriptable object that will like, I don't know, do stuff, show characters, have dialogue happen, play sound effects at specific cadences or whatever. Like, how to do. Like, a way that kind of makes sense to me is a push notification can take a scriptable object, right? And that scriptable object has like a sequence, and if it's null, then like we don't do anything, right? But if it isn't null, then we can like call update into it, and if we call update into it, then like it'll do a bunch of stuff for us, right? It'll play some audio files, it will like be able to control the gameplay UI controller in a way that is good. Because ultimately, like, a lot of the like push of this is somewhat driven by what is going on in the like what event we're having, right? So like how many characters show up on the right for the screen, how many of these things show up. If it's just 2, then like how do I do that, which one shows at what time, if we swap in and out characters, like do we like do a push pop thing where we push characters and they go up on the top and they pop, they pull out, and the people above them fall down on top of them. And this way we could actually have more than 4 characters talk. It just only 4 characters at once can be quote unquote in a conversation. Which is a nice like way to loosen up the restrictions, because like you could do longer sequences of things without having to have multiple triggers. We're not going to necessarily have more than 4 characters wanting to be part of the same conversation at once, I think. But we might want a sequence to contain more than 4 characters, right? So like, for example, you're like, hey, we're going to do this crazy thing, and everyone's like, yep, sounds good, or something like that, or the equivalent thereof. And then, like, okay, so there's a thing that we might also want to do, which is, like, multiple people talking. So, like, yeah, this is just a thing where it's, like, the scriptable object kind of just wants the base gameplay UI reference to modify stuff. And this is particularly true if we want to do really fancy things. Like, what if we want to, like, have our resources get kind of screwed up or something like that, that's connected to a gameplay event, right? So like, what if we want to like replace these with like number or something? Like, oh, we're like losing control of our stuff, and like your UI starts going haywire, which is a thing that would be super cool to do as a game event. You know, maybe we start putting in like weird characters or symbols, and like that would be a neat like way of using the UI to tell a story. It's like, oh, this is your control panel, but like also it's like, things are going wrong and weird with it, and it's fun to do that because UI is not often used as a means of telling the story. So, and in theory, it shouldn't be that hard. So. Now, okay, so here's a thing about this. Is that maybe a scriptable object can contain a reference to, like, an animation. Because a lot of this stuff, like, if we want to do really fancy stuff, we should probably just have an animator on the base gameplay UI and then be like, hey, please play this animation to change all these values in the way the sequence goes. And so we tell things, hey, stop updating the energy and nanites. We're going to corrupt those. Stop. Like, give us control of the objectives. Stop updating those. Or, like, don't update the minimap. We're going to do something weird with it. Right? And so I kind of see ultimately this boiling down to saying, hey, we have a scriptable object that, like, animate stuff, but then there's certain things that we don't want to animate because it's just a lot of work, or at least generally it's a lot of work, which are like these things here on the right, the voice stuff, because there's like, hey, the whole world's ending, and then there's like, hey, we're under attack. Right? And we want to be able to, like, have more or less control over really important things that happen or not important things at all. So yeah, we'll think about that. I feel like this is a good time to end the stream. This is a kind of bigger point to go on, and we got the base stuff set up. Could use a little bit more polish, but you know, I think it's not bad for first pass, and we'll do more work on it as we move forward. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming by. You guys all have a great evening. I'm gonna actually probably go for a run, maybe. It looks sunny outside, but it says it's cold. Yeah. Anyways, see you later.